Hi everybody, and welcome to my fourth video about EFT. And I am an ambassador for a charity that helps people with abuse and to raise awareness of what abuse is, because 100 years ago what was acceptable is no longer acceptable. Like 100 years ago women were considered to be properties of men, and luckily society is changing for the better and acknowledges that that is actually abuse. Also, I got married 24 years ago in a beautiful city of my birth, Prague, and it was exactly the same beautiful day as it is today. It was a bit cold, but it was sunny like it is today. And this red jumper I bought for myself, and my husband used to love to wear it. He used to try to borrow it from me, so that is why I like wearing that, because he often wore this jumper too, so it means a lot to me. So what I decided to do today was to do a video on helping with abuse, helping to overcome abuse, and I will be making reference to my own experience, because my life has been about learning to be myself and not to do what other people wanted me to do. And for example, one of the things is, which I'm kind of raising awareness of, is that if your partner is controlling you, if your partner constantly wants to know where you are, spies on you on Facebook, stops you from seeing your friends, or in my case, for example, it was I was doing courses with the Open University, and my husband was not very happy because that meant I wasn't there with him. That also meant he was looking after our sons, who were very small at that time, and he certainly did not like that. So it is about knowing what abuse is, and I'm here to talk to people who want to chat, because it is actually something new, and a lot of people find it shocking or don't realize that actually that abuse is happening in their lives. And so when we go to the EFT, to the tapping, what we'll be concentrating on is trying to connect to the abuse itself. And there are loads of reasons why abuse happens, and very often it is the case that as children, where we are growing up, and at that time we are very, very suggestible up to the age of about 8, we basically observe our closest environment, our parents, our teachers, and what we see we will later on adopt in our own lives. So if we have grown up in some very abusive environments, then the chances of us copying that same behavior that our parents had will be much bigger. Also, people are, I would share, when I used to have counseling, I used to see a counselor who would say to me, "Oh look, your husband, he's such a bully, why don't you leave him?" Which she was constantly encouraging me to leave my husband, and that was not very ethical, because no ethical counselor or psychologist should be telling us what to do. So that counselor herself was not in the best of places to be helping, and this is why when I'm helping people, I'm trying to make sure that this is not my own agenda, and that the help is really kind of authentic help coming from my heart, and letting the person decide, well, that is actually what I want to do, and helping them with coming to that decision to make positive changes for the better. So I will start showing you about what you can do to help yourself while you are tapping to overcome this abuse, because the abuse and the memories of the abuse will always stay in us. And even if people who are being abused are persuaded to leave their partner or the person abusing them, without doing this kind of work and clearing those negative memories and those negative emotions from our body, from our energy body, the chances are that that person will go and find another abusive friend or partner. So that is why I'm actually trying to come up with some training programs for organizations who are helping women or men to overcome abuse, because very often people think, oh, abuse, that happens only to women, but actually it can also be the other way around. So that is not to dismiss that men can't be abused too, because that also happens, that women do abuse men. So to the EFT, so tuning in to that abuse. So what I will be saying in the setup is, even though I have suffered this abuse, and so we start on the karate chop, even though I have suffered this abuse, I love and accept myself anyway. And the like with everything else in tapping, the more accurate we are about that statement, the better the healing. So I will ask myself, right, where do I feel that abuse in my body? And I very much feel it in my shoulders. There's a lot of pain in my shoulders, and I would describe that as a stabbing pain that I have in my shoulders. So the more accurate the description of the abuse that we suffer, the better the results of the tapping. So I will tune in to the abuse, and I feel it at about 8 on a scale of 0, where 0 I feel nothing, 10 is as bad, as worse as it can ever be. So we do the setups 3 times. So even though I have suffered this emotional abuse and I feel it as a stabbing pain in my shoulders, I laugh and accept myself anyway. So even though I have suffered this abuse, this emotional abuse, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I've got this stabbing pain in my shoulders, I love and accept myself anyway. And then just the reminder phrases, whatever comes for you, even if you don't suffer that pain in your shoulders, you will still be getting benefits if you tap and repeat the same as what I say. So this abuse, this emotional abuse, this pain in my shoulders, this stabbing pain in my shoulders, this stabbing pain in my shoulders, this emotional abuse I suffered. My husband tried to control what I did. He did not want me to go to courses. He was stopping me from seeing friends and going to tutorials. My husband did not like me going to visit my family in Prague. He felt on his own. This emotional abuse, this stabbing pain in my shoulders, this emotional abuse, this stabbing pain in my shoulders. So now I'm going to tune in to that emotional abuse, how I felt, what I feel now. And even just taking a deep breath and connecting to who you are, which is putting your hands on your heart center, that is already in itself a very healing thing to do. And I feel now it's gone down to 6, and I could continue tapping more and more to try to bring that feeling of abuse to as low as possible. Also, what is good to do is to go and tap to some particular memories you had when that abuse happened, and I will do that at some other time. I will show you how you can actually do a story, tell a story, a bit like a movie of when you had that very bad experience. And every time, you know, the emotional charge comes up, then it's a time to tap. So for example, what I could do is, I could remember the times when my husband got very cross with me, and he would say things to me like, oh, if it comes to going to the Open University, you would be on time, but if we are going out and I want to be somewhere on time, I don't, you know, you don't care. So I will do another video on that a bit later on, because this video would be too long. But what I will also want to say is that yesterday I have done a video from the beach where I just stepped on attracting more positive energy, more healing energy, getting more energy, and it was a very appropriate place to do it because it was at the beach. It's all the beautiful waves, and the sea just gives so much energy anyway. I hardly had any energy because I'm just recovering from an illness, so I hardly had any energy yesterday, but after actually dragging myself to go to the seaside and to actually go into the sea, I felt energized. And yeah, it is good to tap on the positives, and I will do more videos about that a bit later on. But people ask, well, why do we need to tap on those negatives? Why do we need to revisit the negatives? Yesterday my mother made a comment where I was just having a post saying about how I deal with heartbreaks, and my mum would say, well, why don't you mention positive events in your family? Why do you just concentrate on your heartbreaks only? And so I would say to my mum, no, I do not concentrate on heartbreaks, or it was just a post I did because it was an inspirational post I shared with people about actually, sharing how I myself cope with it. And it was a positive post. Nevertheless, my mother thought that I'm only concentrating on the negatives in the family, and that's not true. I do appreciate all the positives in my family, but what I would also say is that unless we are able to go there and open up whatever that heartbreak was, whatever that abuse was, if we are unable to go there, then we won't be able to heal it, because without opening it up, we wouldn't be able to heal it. So yes, I can do all the positives in my life, but the negatives would still be locked there. Like when I was born a month before, which was just Christmas, my grandpa died, and because my mum was 8 months pregnant, and she said, well, I must I must be brave for that baby, I mustn't fall to pieces. But in actual fact, she was unable to express that grief, and it had an impact on me. But what I would say is that once we are able to heal those negatives, then yes, it's good to boost more of our positive energies. So yeah, lovely to see you. If you have any comments, please do comment, and I will look forward to our next video. Bye for now.